Hi, and welcome to Behold Holy Week. And it's our pleasure with my co-host Beth Whitney to talk to you on Monday about Monday after Palm Sunday. We ended Palm Sunday with a parade, how wonderful that was. And now on Monday, it's a little different Jesus than what we saw on Sunday. We saw Jesus riding in on the colt of a donkey in the triumphal entry, people cheering and all these kinds of things. And Jesus is just hearing this Hosanna, all of this accolades that probably were misplaced.
Yes.
Well, now Jesus becomes very deliberate, and instead of a parade, we see a whip and a fig tree.
Yeah.
And it's
Interesting combo.
Interesting combo, but a lot of people, they might recognize these two stories, but they didn't realize that it happened on Monday after Palm Sunday.
Right.
And so it's our pleasure to talk about that a little bit. The key passages for this are Matthew 21, the latter part. The first part was the triumphal entry, and then Mark 11. And you'll learn about the cleansing of the temple and then also cursing of the fig tree.
Yeah, on the way to Jerusalem, Jesus sees this fig tree full of leaves, but not a fig in sight, right?
Yeah.
And he curses it. And it's not because Jesus is grumpy that there's not.
It sounds like that, though.
Yeah, it makes you like, what?
Yeah.
What's wrong with, wow, Jesus woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something, right?
Yeah.
But no, this tree is a living parable. So the fig tree represents Israel's religious establishment, right? We've heard all about them as we read through the New Testament, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the teachers of the law. They've got all these ideas of what, not a good Christian, because they before Christ.
What a godly person would be.
What a godly person would be like. All the appearance of life, all these green leaves, no fruit. And Jesus is like, look, disciples, that's not what I want from you. What you look like is way less important than what your life produces. And so it's this living parable.
It really is. And I mean, you think about the disciples and what must have been going through their mind, exactly what you're talking about. Wow, this is one grumpy Messiah.
Right.
But then all of a sudden you find out it should be bearing fruit, but it's not.
Right.
And how much of our religion is that way?
Yeah.
It's motion minus the fruit. It's the leaves minus the fruit kind of thing.
Right.
But Jesus doesn't stop there. On Monday, he goes to the temple, and John says he makes his own whip. He makes his own whip, and he goes into the temple court.
So this wasn't an impulsive move.
No.
Because you got to take the time to fashion this whip, right?
Yeah. And two, every year of Jesus' life, because he's a good Jew, he would be in the temple.
Yeah.
And so he knew exactly what he was doing. And he goes in and he sees the money changers, and it's the courtyard where the Gentiles were able to approach God. They couldn't go any further because they were Gentiles.
Yeah.
But this is the place where Gentiles could worship the God of Israel, and it turned into a strip mall, basically. And
is it true that they were taking advantage of the Gentiles?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because everyone from all points of the world, they came in with their own currency. And to really worship in the temple, you have to use temple currency.
Of course.
So you have to exchange your currency for the temple currency. And of course, there's
at
a
my
fee.
price.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
If you want to buy a lamb or a dove, they're going to mark it up because they were good capitalists even before this capitalism kind of thing. And so Jesus goes in, he clears the temple. And he says, this place is meant to be a house of prayer. This is a place where Gentiles could come and worship, and they've turned it into an outlet mall. And so Jesus takes matters into his own hands and gets violent. And he's whipping, and he's kicking over tables, and you could hear money falling on the stone, and all of these people grabbing and not knowing what's going on. It is a violent moment that Jesus does within the temple court. It's amazing. And that's on Monday after he's cursed the fig tree.
After he's cursed the fig tree, right.
Yeah.
And after they think he's coming on the donkey to deliver them from the political powers, and he's busy delivering the Gentiles from oppression.
Well, and you think, I never thought of that.
I just thought of it just now.
But that's so true. And two, because of what happened on Palm Sunday, they see Jesus. He's drawn a crowd. Everywhere he goes, there's a crowd.
Yes.
And so he's walking to the temple, and they're probably thinking in their mind, at least I would, oh, this is going to be his first stump speech.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is going to be his first speech to rally the Jews and to really send a message to those wicked Romans.
He sent a message.
And he sends a message, but it's not the one they thought.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful.
But you know what? This makes us think that the gospel confronts our dead religion, right? Jesus doesn't want us to be whitewashed tombs. He wants all of us. He doesn't want us to just go to church and give out of obligation and have these rituals of, quote, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
He wants our hearts, and he wants our hearts to bear fruit. And we have to be connected to the vine. We have to be connected with Jesus to bear fruit.
Yeah.
And he cleansed the temple so that there was no barrier to people coming to him. He broke down the barriers, the dividing walls of hostility, the money changers booth, so that the cross was accessible for everyone. Access to God was then for everyone through the cross, through Jesus. Religion should never take the place of our relationship with Jesus.
And, just hearing you talk about that stuff, Beth, it would be very easy for me, probably for us, to sit back 2,000 years later and point the finger at the people in the courtyard and say, look at those, boy, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. But then I have to ask myself the question, and we'd love for you to ask yourself the question, is there anything in my life that's crowding the master out of my life or his mission for my life? There are so many things that can do that in our world.
We're so filled with distractions.
We are filled with distractions. And so this might be a day of reflection for you. It could be that you know what it's like about that fig tree. You resonated when Beth was describing a lot of leaves, no fruit. Or it could be describing this place that there's so much crowded out of your life that there's no room for you to be able to love Jesus or draw near to him. And so maybe that's what needs to happen on this Holy Week Monday.
Maybe invite him to overturn those tables in your heart.
You bet. Yeah.
Well, our verse for today, Isaiah 56:7. My house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations.
Yeah.
The gospel is for everyone.
For
every
everyone.
tribe, every tongue, every language, every race, every nationality, everyone.
Yeah.
So that's Monday, but tomorrow the religious leaders show up and they are scheming and conniving on how to catch Jesus.
Well, they're seeing kind of a chink in his armor a little bit, and they're seeing that opening, and man, they take advantage of it. But that happens on Tuesday.
Okay, so that's the close of Monday.
All
We'll
right.
see you guys tomorrow.
See ya.